Hello, everyone. Welcome to Theos Band. Today, I would like to do a quick, unscripted video, although I have some notes. I just wanted to do a quick video on the concept of the super-essentiality of God. This concept is essentially universal amongst the church fathers, especially the Eastern church fathers, and most notably, that term itself, I believe, was introduced to the church by Pseudo Dionysius the Areopagite, um, specifically in his book on the divine names. Now, if you don't know what the superessentiality of God means, it essentially means that all of the divine names, goodness, perfection, truth, light, infinity, all of these names don't capture the totality of the essence of God. God always remains beyond these names, uh, even though they apply to him. And that's the confusing part that a lot of people, including me, have found it hard to really understand. Although, I mean, the whole point is that we can never understand the super-essentiality of God. But I do think there is a way of analogically thinking through why God has to be super essential. And in this way, you sort of understand the logic behind it. So firstly, just to quote Pseudo Dionysius's on the divine names, where he's talking about God and his superessentiality, um, he says that, quote, this deity is perfect in those beings that are imperfect as a fount of perfection. It is perfectionless in those that are perfect, as transcending and anticipating their perfection. It is the form producing form in the formless, as a fount of every form, and it is formless in the forms, as being beyond all form. It is the being that pervades all beings at once, though not affected by them, and it is super essential, as transcending every being. It sets all bounds of authority and order, and yet it has its seal above all, beyond all authority and order. It is the measure of the universe, and it is eternity, and above eternity, and before eternity. Unquote. So essentially, what Dionysius is saying here is that God is fully present in all beings, yet God is beyond all being. And another way he puts this is when he says that God is the possessor of all the divine names. And I think this understanding of God as um, within everything, possessing everything, yet at the same time being absolutely transcendent, um, this can be understood uh, by really thinking through this notion of possession and what it means to possess the divine names. So that's what I wanted to make this video on. So let's just use a very simple example, this book. Um, I am the possessor of this book, and by definition, I'm outside of it. So similarly, God is the possessor of all his divine names, so he must be outside of it. But unlike God here, I am not, I am unlike God and his names, I am completely distinct from this book, but the names do apply to God, even though they don't capture the totality of his essence. So how can we conceptualize these divine names applying to God? God is good, God is light, God is truth, he is perfection, he is an infinite, but at the same time, he's beyond goodness, beyond perfection, beyond light, and beyond infinity. Well, I think perhaps a better analogy here would be my possession of my body. So I possess my body, and in this way, as the speaking subject, which would be the spiritual part of me, the human person is divided into body, soul, and spirit. The spiritual part of me is what speaks. My body is not the one doing the speaking. It's not by its own volition doing the speaking. It's my spirit, which is united with my body, which does the speaking. And in being united to my body, I am I possess my body, and I possess my body in being united. So similarly, we can understand God as possessing all his names, yet being distinct from them, just as I possess my body, yet as spirit, I am distinct from my body. And because I am control my body freely with my volition, I am above my body. And it is this hierarchy of body, soul, and spirit that constitutes the human person. And similarly with God, we can understand the hierarchy between creation and then the divine names and the realm of the divine energies and activities. And then we have the super essence. And this is the Trinity itself. This is God. And also, I drew up on this whiteboard a way of understanding further what it means for God to be outside of the realm of not only created things, but also the eternal divine names. So here we have me. And this is my perceptual field. Now, what it means for me as a finite creature to have a perceptual field is necessarily I have to be outside of that perceptual field. So this is, let's just say, this is all of reality as I experience it. So in a sense, to be a human being is to be outside of reality, to be able to take a step back and look upon reality as it is. A rock is not able to do that. A rock is just what the philosopher Hegel would say is in a natural immediacy with the world. But a human being is defined by a certain rupture from the world. And in this sense, the human being is necessarily outside of reality in a particular understanding of that term. So a similar thing is, from my understanding, occurs with God, although on a completely different level. And unlike the human being, God is present in all things because he's super essential. Now, God, if we're saying this is the realm of the divine activities, the divine energies, what the human can know, and the divine names, well, the essence of God as the source of all of this has to necessarily be outside of it. Now, this is where the concept of solipsism actually is a good analogy, because the solipsist errs by thinking that the human being is, if this is reality, the solipsist would say that this human being is identical with that reality, or the reality doesn't exist outside of this human being's perception. So there's a complete identification between the realm that we experience and the actual ontologically existing realm. But for God, this realm of existence, the divine names, the divine activities, this actually is existing within the mind of God, but we have to keep in mind that because it is something that God reflects upon and beholds, it is necessarily distinct from. So in this way, because everything exists in God's mind, yet God possesses everything in his mind, God, all of these things necessarily have to be outside of the mind or the super essence, outside of the Holy Trinity. That's essentially what it means for God to be super essential. It simply means that we have the created realm, the divine names, and then God himself in his super essence. And because God himself possesses everything over here, and yet is the source and the life of everything in here, he is fully present in them, yet in a completely ungraspable way. He is beyond and outside everything. So I hope that today this video helped you understand how God is super essential. I plan on making some more videos very soon. And thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and check the links in the description. I also run my other philosophy channel called Telos Bound. If you're interested in that, go check it out. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye-bye.